invited my brother to stay at our house for his vacation, my wife got furious.
It's the brother. It's just family.
So I, 34 male, my wife, 39 female, and her daughter, 13 female, all live in a house that I rent. My wife and I recently traveled to Florida for vacation, and while we were there, my brother drove 10 hours straight to see me and meet my wife, as I had not seen him in a little over 5 years. Unfortunately, my wife ended up catching the vid while we were in Florida, so she never got to meet my brother. By the way, this comes from OverLibrarian7367, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. Oh, here is the issue. My brother and I are close. We have always called each other once a week and text almost daily. A few days ago, he told me that he would be coming through Hawaii for vacation in about a month and asked if he could stay with me for 5 days. Of course, I said yes, as it's not a problem. I rent a 5-bedroom house and the spare bedrooms are on the first floor. I came home on Thursday and told my wife, and she was incredibly mad. She told me that my brother is a garden tool and that she can't trust him around her daughter because he's always posting photos of different girls on his social media. She then doubled down, saying that she and her daughter would get a hotel for the entire time my brother is here because she thinks he would do something to her daughter.
Oh my gosh.
She has never met anyone on my side of the family. However, I asked her as calmly as I could why she would think that about my brother, whom she has never met before. All she could say was, "It's because he's a garden tool."
Wow.
I would be really angry. I would be really angry about this.
Absolutely.
After she said that, she stormed away to the master bedroom. Currently, my wife and I aren't talking or sleeping in the same room. So am I the a-hole for saying my brother could stay with me and there is an update? No. Literally, the only thing that I was going to say that she was mad at is that you didn't run it by her.
Yeah.
But clearly that's not the issue here.
Not at all. She's just like, from what I can see, from
what
how
I've gathered.
how well I know people
Yeah.
and their Instagram pages, I can tell that this is going to be a dangerous man. But
he's a garden tool through and through. I wasn't expecting for this to blow up like it did in the past hour. As this is my first time writing, I will try and address some of the questions that are coming up. My wife has never met any of my family. My older brother, the one coming to visit, is 42, and he does have a lot of girlfriends, but as far as I have seen on social media, they all look as old or older than me. My younger brother, I haven't seen or heard from in 10-ish years. Last I checked, he was in the Midwest hitchhiking, and my sister is a traveling nurse. Both my parents are deceased. They passed away when I was 14. Yes, I pay the rent. However, that is not to say my wife doesn't contribute to bills at all. We try and split the bills 50-50 whenever possible. However, I do mainly cover the rent and Wi-Fi while she covers utilities and groceries. I didn't mean to type it in a condescending tone or manner, but that's how it is, I guess. My wife and I normally don't communicate whenever we have guests over. Just last week, I hosted her father and mother at our house without an invitation. That is actually really relevant information because that was the only thing. Yeah, that was the only thing that I was like, that was kind of weird.
Right.
But apparently that's just standard. So
yeah, Kat commented his wife had him or wants him or has had him before. That's Kat's theory.
Well, according to OP, she's never met him before, but maybe she's she saw his Instagram and she was like, oh my God, I know that man.
Yeah.
To me, family should never need it unless they have done something crazy like unalive or they are a PDF file, in which case I wouldn't talk to them ever. Currently, the wife is sleeping, and I plan on having a heart-to-heart with her later. I do understand why some of you feel like there's a lot being left out, but this is everything. Also, to everyone saying I should have defended my brother's honor, I understand where you're coming from, but I didn't want to make the situation worse by throwing gas into the fire. And there are some comments. Comment 1, with this, the matter is closed. Not the a-hole and your wife is bat crap crazy and a disrespectful witch. Accusing your brother of being a PDF file and being mad because you invited family without her consent when she would have done the same thing. Send her to F herself. Grow a pair and stop with the I don't want to throw gas in the fire. She is your partner and she must show you the same respect and consideration you give her. If she invites her parents to your house without telling you, why do you have to ask her when doing the same? And there is a second update, but man, oh man, that was an aggressive comment. Comment saying, I don't care about throwing gas in the fire. Dump the whole thing on there.
Just do it.
Make that fire ginormous.
Why not? Right?
Mm-hmm. Ming Ming says the wife is scared she can't control herself and jump the brother's bone. She's like, he is too hot.
Interesting.
So after reading most, if not all, of the comments, I had a list of the things the wife and I had to talk about. Yesterday, when everyone's heads had cooled off, the wife and I had a sit down. I did apologize for not telling her that I had one-sidedly told my brother he could stay at our house. However, I also told her that going forward, her family and friends are not to be invited to our house unless I'm told in advance. She was fine with that decision. Secondly, I also showed her this post that I made. She was very apologetic for immediately exploding and calling my brother a possible pedo without any evidence or backing. She's also opened up about her past and the reason she was so uncomfortable. According to my wife, her ex-husband, who I have never met or even seen a picture of, was very controlling and she also said that her ex-husband and my older brother look alike. Whoa.
Oh.
Which was the biggest reason why she exploded.
Whoa.
The wife finally showed me a picture of her ex-husband, and he definitely looks like my brother if my brother grew out his beard. For those of you thinking, then shouldn't I also look like her ex? Well, thankfully, I got most of my mom's genetics and skin color. Most people think my brother and I aren't even related due to him being quite a few shades darker than me. Her ex-husband is currently in prison for a while, so I assured her that he and my brother are completely different people. I'm glad she opened up about her past relationship, which I knew nothing about, which is kind of shocking.
That is pretty surprising.
Because I think they've been together for a while.
I mean, they're married.
Is their daughter his, or is this the ex-husband's daughter? Do we know that?
I assumed it's theirs.
That's what I assumed. So they've at least been married or like together for 13 years.
Yeah.
So it's shocking that he didn't know any of this.
Yeah, it's a long time. But I mean, maybe it's just never
Very
come up
traumatic.
before.
Yeah. I understand why a lot of you may think it's weird to not know about your wife's past, especially if you're raising someone else's child, but to me, it didn't really bother me. Okay, so it's not his kid. Also, her ex-husband is not in prison for domestic or violence, but for something totally unrelated, wasted driving. It happened last year, according to police reports. When my wife left her ex, they were living in Colorado at the time. Her father came and pretty much snuck the wife and daughter out of the house while her ex was away. The wife was too scared to even call the cops as she was told she would have to fly back and possibly meet her ex again. I don't know what to think of that, but I'm glad my wife is in a better place right now, as you couldn't even tell that happened to her in the past. For some of the most asked questions, when the wife and I went to Florida, the daughter was not with us. It was our anniversary and vacation. We asked daughter if she wanted to come, but she flat out said no, and that she would stay with her grandparents. I checked my wife's phone just to make sure that there weren't any private messages between her and my brother. Okay, wait. With her permission? Did you just like snoop in her phone?
Oh, man.
That's not good. That's bad.
Man.
There wasn't anything I could find, including in her pictures and all messaging apps. The only people she talks to are her two friends and family. A lot of you asked how my wife could have never met my brother or anyone in my family before we got married. Like I have posted before, my parents have already passed away. My youngest brother is actively being a bum, according to my oldest brother, who emailed him last year he was somewhere in Alabama, so he is probably still in the Southeast United States. My sister is currently living in New York. The last time I talked to her was back in November. My oldest brother is always traveling and working. My wife has been included in FaceTimes with my older brother and younger sister, so she knows what they look like. It's just that none of them have ever met in person. Lastly, the wife and I came to the conclusion that my brother would get a hotel room while he is here visiting us next month. I have informed my older brother, and he is perfectly fine with that, as he doesn't want my family to feel uncomfortable in their own house. And by the way, we wouldn't want you to feel uncomfortable, and the best way to feel comfortable is to listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. And you'll feel so comfortable. But there is a little bit left to the story. Mm-hmm. What thoughts do you have?
Bob said something interesting about like daughter might be afraid of the uncle too.
That's true. I mean, if that was her dad,
Yeah.
there could be something there.
Yeah.
And so her mom's trying to make her feel comfortable. Like they
Mhm.
might just feel uncomfortable around other men too.
Yeah. Seems like they're kind of figuring out like a middle
Yeah.
ground and trying to
Talk about
get
it.
around these issues. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important that they have this conversation. It seems
Yeah.
like it hasn't happened for years.
Right.
But there is a little bit left to the story. The wife and I are going to start attending couples counseling sessions next Wednesday, and if the wife thinks the daughter should join us, then we will move to family counseling. The wife and daughter are excited about meeting my brother, as I talk about him a lot. Of course, I will introduce him slowly so as to not add pressure to everyone involved. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Wowie. It sounds like
Wowee.
everything's working.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Just that is something that he didn't know about
I'm
his
shocked
wife.
that this is how it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, props for her of like being able to handle herself and not like, being healed enough for it to not come up.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
also I do think that's like a pretty important thing to have. I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it
I'm
should
kind
have
of
maybe
shocked.
been brought up.
Yeah, I'm shocked that it didn't come up
Yeah.
ever. But
But now it is.